most amazing kindergarten artists, we are going to start working with our clay. So you can see I just broke my clay in half. I gave you a ball of clay and I want you to cut it in half. Then roll that half into a ball of clay. Then I'm using my hand to press it and make a slab. We practiced that today in our Zoom meeting. So I'm making a slab. Then I showed you the shoe technique where you can get some texture. Texture is how something feels. So I'm pressing in my shoe to get some texture. Now I'm gonna rub out the label from my shoe. It said Roxy. I'm gonna rub that out. And that is my first option of how to do it. Another option is to find things around your house that you can press in some texture, but make sure you get permission from your family. I had some lace in my classroom, so I used a rolling pin and rolled out my clay onto my lace, and I got some really neat texture from the lace. Next, I'm using my plastic cup, the big end, to create the circle and trace around with my needle tool, so I get a really nice circle for my medal or medallion. So I'm going to now use my needle tool. My clay got a little stuck, so I'm using my needle tool and using my resources to get my clay piece off of my table. Next, I am going to pick which one I would like to use. So I'm also going to do this to this one. I'm using my needle tool and cutting around the big end of my cup. And now I have two choices, and I'm going to pick one that I would like to use. So I decided to use my lace one. I really liked the texture that I created with my lace. I'm going to use my extra clay to start to make some coils for the letter of my name. My name is Mrs. May, so I'm going to create the letter M. After I create the letter M, I am going to do something called slipping and scoring. So I put some water in my cup, and now I'm going to put some clay, some leftover clay, into my cup. And I'm going to mix that clay and water together to create slip. Slip is like clay glue. So you have to use slips in order for clay pieces to stick together. So I am scoring by scratching up the back side of my letter, and then I'm going to use some slip, that clay glue, and put it on. So everything you attach, you have to slip and score. Sometimes I sing this song to help me remember to slip and score. Watch me slip, now watch me score it. Watch me slip, slip, now watch me score it. So you need to make sure you slip and score every single time you attach a piece of clay. After I slip and score my piece, I am going to take my fingers and kind of squish the clays together by pressing the edges of the clay together. Next, I'm going to use my needle tool and try different techniques to add some patterns or design on my letter, just to switch it up a little bit. I did some dots on one side. I did some like cross hatching on the other side. You can decide what you want to do to add a little bit of different texture on your letter. After that, I'm going to create a hole in my medallion so that I actually can, when these become hard pieces of clay, I'm going to put like a string in the medallion so I can actually wear my medal or medallion, because we are talking about being good teammates and having working as a team. So I'm also going to create 6 beads. Now this is optional, but I thought it'd be fun to create some of my own clay beads. I am rolling them into a little ball, and then I'm using my needle tool to poke a hole through my beads. You have to kind of swirl your needle tool around to make your hole big enough so that we can actually string something through it. So you can kind of see I'm rolling my needle tool around. When I'm done making my metal and my beads, my 6 beads, then you have some leftover clay. And you can either just send your leftover clay back to me, or if you want to mix something with it, that's fine with me too. There's a couple rules with clay though. It can't be thicker than a cookie when you are putting clay pieces together. So you couldn't just roll a big chunk of clay into a ball, because air will get trapped in it and it will explode when I put it in the kiln, the clay oven. So it has to be thin enough. Also, when you're attaching things, you have to slip and score it. So you can see I'm slipping and scoring some things to my extra slab piece that I created. I'm also writing my name May in there, and I thought this could sit on my desk or be something that I could maybe give to somebody in my family with the name May too. So you could do something like that as well with your extra clay. That is fine. I will fire that in the kiln if that is what you choose to do. You are all finished. Your wet clay needs to be placed back into your small plastic bag carefully. I don't want things to get smushed during your transportation, but also if you let it dry out, it's going to be at its bone dry stage, and that can be really, really fragile. So we're gonna send them back to school with them wet still. Don't forget to dump your slip in the trash can, not the sink, and send that cup back to me as well. Thank you.